Today is Saturday, August 8th, the beginning of the second weekend of racing here at Saratoga Springs in 2009. And it's an especially interesting weekend and week ahead, as today we have two Grade 1 races that are fantastic, the Whitney and the Test. And this year the Whitney has drawn an extraordinarily competitive field. The Whitney, obviously named in honor of the Whitney family, who's had just a tremendous influence on thoroughbred racing really for 2 centuries in the United States. Also this year, on the other side of the coin, is the Phasic-Tipton yearling sales, and that kicks off actually this weekend with the Festival of Racing on the 8th and the 9th, and the first sales are on Monday evening. The Phasic-Tipton organization is purchased by the Sheikh of Dubai recently, and they have renovated the sales ring and done an extraordinary job just in general. It's very gracious, it's been expanded, it's very viewer friendly for both the viewing public and the horsemen that are involved. It's truly one of the wonderful upgrades that's happened here in Saratoga Springs. So without further ado, we'll talk about that as the week goes on more, but without further ado, we'll turn it over to Roselli to handicap the Whitney.
The big deal race on Saturday, one of the highlights of the Saratoga season, is the Whitney. Of course, it's a Grade 1, 9 furlongs, $750,000 purse. And the race starts, although it doesn't end, with Commentator. This could be his last race. He's a freak of nature, one of the fastest horses of the last 20 years. Unfortunately, he has slight injury problems that have kept him from really campaigning as fully as possible, but he is going for a historic third Whitney victory, which would tie him with Discovery and Kelso as the only 3-time winners of this race. He's more than a sentimental favorite in here. This horse has his trademark blazing speed. It's catch me if you can. It looks from his last few races that finally, at the age of 8, he's lost a couple of steps here. I think he can be caught, but it's going to take some doing. This is a deep and classy field lined up against him, though, and I want to take a look. I'll take a look at each horse here and see which ones could possibly get to Commentator. Starting from the rail out, we'll just go in that order. Smooth Air is one of the best milers around these days, but also we have to remember that at 9 furlongs he's quite accomplished. He was second to Big Brown in the Florida Derby. He won the Ohio Derby at 9 furlongs. He's a pace presser. He's going to get a good trip from the rail. To me, he should be one of the favorites. I think you might get around 4 to 1 on him. I think that's his morning line. It should be about accurate. To me, that's a good bet. Asiatic Boy. He's now 6. He comes from further off the pace than he used to. He used to be a stalker, and now he's kind of a mid-pack type. He has 2 excellent efforts this year in the Foster and the Suburban, 2 good closing efforts to place. This is his 3rd race off the layoff. It's supposed to be the best shot in here. It's just a question of, is he going to move forward, and is that going to be good enough? He's obviously capable. I think he's a half a cut below. But with a slight move forward, he should be a factor. Bulls Bay, to me, is a throwout. He's too slow. He's too unaccomplished. So let's move on. The most interesting horse in here is Macho again. This is his best distance. 3 of his 4 lifetime 100-plus buyers have come at 9 furlongs. He's a deep closer, so of course the usual comments apply. He can find trouble, or he could find the wire, and I think this is an excellent spot for him to find the wire. I think that he's the most dangerous horse in here. It's a relatively short field. He's not going to get that much traffic trouble. He should be launching a tremendous move, and we'll see if anyone else can hold him off. Tizaway is a horse on the rise. He's just blown through his conditions. He's looked very impressive, but this is his first stakes race. It's an awful lot to ask, and you just wouldn't expect them to do anything here significant. Finally, there's Dry Martini. I have no objections to Dry Martini in either sense. He's also a deep closer. He's not going to get, obviously, a pace duel to run into. He's going to have to count on Commentator folding up his tent and somehow getting to the horses that get first run on Commentator, like Smooth Air. But he is rounding back into the form that made him a force in the handicap division. He seems to be the one who's moving in the right direction, and I think he stands an excellent chance. So no matter how you fall on this, it's a fascinating race, and it's not every year that you get to see a horse like Commentator. It could be his last race, so we'll be watching with more than just pari-mutual interest.